We've had our first section of the Friends of Urbanize Hub, where we've met Ruxandra, Servaz, and Carl. And we have another guest who's connecting all the way from Portugal. He was actually supposed to be with us here in person, but sometimes infrastructure does not work in your advantage. But luckily, there's a digital infrastructure that still connects us. For context, like we've said, in order to change the world, we know the monochrome: think global, act local, and these friendships have always helped us a great deal. And in the morning, we've had the manifest for the smart city presented by Mirella, and now Vitor will come with his vision on what is a smart city, and then we'll get a more holistic perspective of how we develop a smart city and what examples do we see outside of the Romanian borders. So Vitor, you have the floor, and a big round of applause from our guests.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's really unfortunate, and I'm very sad not to be with you and with the all guys in Bucharest at this hour. Everything was supposed to be perfect and running normally, but we got very, very powerful rain yesterday. So I got a flight delayed, the first flight delayed, and the second flight, because it was not connected, I lost it. So basically, I've been the last 24 hours waking up from my sleep and looking forward to meet my friends in Romania. And I ended up in spending my night in Milan and Bergamo, dinnering by myself and sleeping in, at least I have a massage. It's not so bad for €2. So I decided to change a little bit my presentation, just because these unfortunate things that happened, that are going to happen often, I believe, because we are feeling a disruptive situation regarding, for example, travel. But also, I understand as a disruptive situation also for cities. And we need to think, that's what I'm doing for the last 3-4 years, to think some kind of approach to bring a more stable philosophical vision about how cities can really prepare themselves in this kind of problematic times. So as you can see, this is like a bit of the answer to what I'm going to bring today. The biggest floods we had in Lisbon was in '61, and it was like, we don't know exactly how many people died. There are reports about 1,000 people died in these floods in '61. It was the worst event, because we had the dictatorship in that moment. Everything was communicated or not communicated. They stopped counting deaths in the news when they reached 467 deaths. So after that, a lot of people died also. So basically, we have a lot of witness families, people that got people disappeared from the floods, and we have this problem that make us think a little bit about when we discuss the topics that we are discussing nowadays. So in the second picture is 67, exactly most of the same. I believe I know these things happen around the world also. So basically, this is going on, coming, 67 again, 83, 2007, and now 2022. So what changed actually since the 60s? Basically changed the perception of cities communicating. They communicate events in a way they can't do much. And now they communicate events in a way we did everything is possible. But it's climate change, everything is changing. We need to take action. So we got this kind of speech that is becoming very comfortable for politicians and elected bodies, because they don't need to worry with with their own mistakes from the last decades. So we've been watching politicians and people running the cities and running the governments, by the way, making mistakes, and they are the only purpose they have is to find excuses when something bad happens. They don't take any responsibility anymore about their fault, because this is kind of impossible to assume. Otherwise, they will lose power, they will lose elections. So basically, now what we are watching now in Lisbon, that's why I don't bring Smart City Lisbon exactly, because in this perspective, and I will speak a little bit about it later. But now, with there's a new mayor in Lisbon since last year, and this kind of speech is like it's nothing related with me. I inherited this kind of situation, and then and by the way, this is nothing related with the infrastructure or human action, which is totally obvious. Everything is related with the human action and lousy urban planning, and it is very documented, and has been like a wild construction everywhere. So it's impossible for cities to grow and expand in these kind of conditions. So basically, took me out of of course, this was not the floods that took me out of Bucharest and Urbanized Hub 5 anniversary, 5th anniversary. It was the perspective of something bad happen, like predictive situation that canceled a lot of flights for some time, because there was a predictive flood or bad weather or whatever. And in the meantime, they besides that, there was also a malfunction in the plane. So basically, a lot of things went wrong yesterday, and I'm so sorry that Gracian and all the team took so much effort to bring me to Bucharest, and in the end, it was not possible. Well, I am from a small city, basically in Bragança. This is the image, which is also complicated to talk about, because I organize events, and like Gracian and yourselves, I also were in these conditions, because we were organizing an event in the remote area, 2.5 hours away from the international airport. So you have to take care of a big logistic situation, and we have to bring a lot of people from around the world, and this was the biggest challenge. But in the end, in 2014, we launched a movement. It's called Smart Travel, and the Smart Travel brought in 2014 more than 50 speakers, worldwide speakers. The one in the picture is Boyd Cohen, which was already speaking a lot around the world about this smart city wheel and so on. So I brought it to Bragança, 30,000 inhabitants city. Why I brought him there, all these people? Because I want to engage with the local powers, with the local administrations. This is a meeting. We have a formal institutional dinner, a welcome dinner with 400 people. And it was the mayor of Íñigo Lacerna, it was the mayor of Santander, it was also all the mayors and government representatives. It was a lot of people, besides some of the guests and of course the speakers. So it was a moment of interaction, not only the event, the speech and the talk, but also the interaction that brought a lot of light of what smart city really means. In 2014, that's why we become a construction of talking about smart cities and connected with smart tourism, because tourism was becoming the worst nightmare for cities in that time. Remember, Barcelona lost election in 2015 just because he couldn't manage the wild tourism. So basically, it was the smartest city in the world in that moment, 2014, but they lost election, and because they was not taking care of the tourism. So in this moment, this movement started, and it brought some I don't want to talk about intelligence or call cities they are dumb or they are intelligent or they are smart. It brought some light to the people there, and they start engaging with these topics in a more active way. That's why Bragança become in the IDC report in 2015. They become the fourth. They become one of the four smartest cities in Portugal, just because we organized an event in 2014. But then they start answering the questions of those forums in another perspective, and they become, oh, actually we have this. Oh, actually we have this. So basically, they become more accurate answers for the questionnaires. And we brought also in that moment street art. Street art was a part of the creative movement that we launched in 2014. This is one of this is the first work of one of the most famous Portuguese street artists, is Bordalo II, Bordalo II, and we brought them there. It was already famous, but this picture got like 2,000 likes in Instagram in 2014. I don't know if you can acquire that, but right now has a huge fans all over the world, and this one become one of these masterpieces. After those, that year, the city organized a street art festival every year, so a smart festival, and the city become from one street art piece. They already have like more than 50, and all very nice, very interesting to watch and observe. So my conclusion is that if we inspire people to make things and exchange information with others and bring others and have this kind of event-driven exchange of knowledge and experience, things happen. And that's why I would rather prefer these events, this kind of events, where there's not, I'm not invited just to talk and just to go to the walk to the stage and share a keynote or whatever, and we don't have any interaction with the locals or with the bodies that they have also something to show. So my doubt when Gracian invited me was why I'm not going to teach. I'm not going to say nothing new for these people. All the old people from Urbanize Hub, they know more than me. Actually, I was going to learn a little bit more and to interact more and to go more open to understand better cities in Romania, which are I am in love with the country also, especially the time we've been in Cluj-Napoca. So the conclusion is that the time passed, and Bragança was the only city without a McDonald's restaurant. So they were happy until then, until 2018 or 18 when the project started to build the McDonald's. So basically, the city got an entrepreneur that was interested in build a franchise of McDonald's, and they got all the support from the municipality. And that's when I decided I don't get it, because we are trying to make a strategy to promote local products, promote gastronomy, culture, things that are unique and can bring tourists and can bring more people, interested people, to know our culture and heritage. And this was the strategy we were working in. And in the meantime, they feature more the McDonald's as then they feature that project. So I think that was the biggest disappointment. One of my first disappointment with this kind of politician vision about what is the immediate answer to the situation or to the public opinion, rather than focus on the middle long-term vision for the future. So I bring one question always with me is, where are the smart cities? I'm trying to figure it out. Where are they? And what I see is projects, and what I see is pilots. What I see is a a lot of things based on what we understand as a smart cities, supported by digital infrastructure and supported by a vision of data and analytics and working all together, technology working for the people, which I don't know also what is for the people. Cities are for the people, of course. So I bring some examples about cities I work with, and they are not anymore in this stage of the smart cities, but they can reconnect. So the Bragança was the first one I mentioned, besides Lisbon, of course, with the floods, is fascinating cultural heritage. I know you have also in Romania, but this is in high risk of lose this identity and values just because they try to put some modern platforms, some modern infrastructure, and that they get loose with a strategy to promote the local heritage. So the other one I was working with is Guarda, and the city has natural resources and business trading potential is by the border with Spain. Is has one of the biggest logistic hubs. So we're working with economic project here. And in the meantime, there were elections last year, and they changed the mayor. And now they postpone all the smart city project based on economy development, on new strategies, whatever. At least they are not doing the same. They just reevaluating. So they will take at least 4 more years to reevaluate something was already ongoing. And Lausanne is another example. It's very green. It's close to Coimbra, the famous university. It's amazing natural resources. This is a small town. They are looking for ideas to create its own identity and strength, and the high risks also to lose identity and values. So Lausanne is also stopped their project. They are looking to see what's going on with a metro surface metro to Coimbra and how can they develop. The other city I was working with until last year was Caldas da Rainha, which I already mentioned Bordalo II, which is the grandson of Bordalo Pinheiro, which is one of the most amazing craftsmen in Portugal. You need to come to Caldas da Rainha, you will understand exactly. They are all pieces of art in the streets. They created the whole topic related with the arts. They become UNESCO art city, creative city, and they have a very complex layers of society, social layers, because you see it all. You see all kinds of people walking on the streets. It reminds me a little bit Cluj, because you see that people that don't have the means to afford Lisbon or to afford Porto or whatever, they try to find some cities more affordable, and some of them they just choose Caldas da Rainha, which is very creative, and they can start their own creative projects. And this is like a volcano erupting over and over and over with creativeness. It has music, it has arts, crafts, and it's really amazing to see. But again, they changed the mayor in elections, and they are like skipping a little bit this part. And one of the things that's still going on is Vagos, a small town I work with this project. They have a town by the sea, amazing beach, natural ecosystems. Is famous about heavy metal fest, but they are bigger. They are smaller than Bragança, which is 30,000 inhabitants. They are like a small town, but they are by the sea, and they have like plenty of jobs of industry around. So their biggest challenge is to get housing and permanent residencies to fix families there, because everyone is sleeping whatever and working in this area. So we were working in this project also to understand how can we help them to promote a better sustainable life for everyone. And this one is how I'm still working with Torres Vedras. Is 1 hour from Lisbon, is a reference for the carnival, and also famous for the beaches and of course sustainable approach. Also has amazing wines. This is an ongoing project. I don't know what's going to happen. We have some setbacks with this one because the former mayor died. They took some time, already 2 years. They stopped the project after the new election, and then now we are starting it. They are really committed to become one example for sustainable approach for the city. Sustainable in all ways, not only in the green aspect, but also creating social sustainability and also economic development. Better to reimagine the forthcoming urban future as a mirror of Rome, the eternal city where nothing much ever gets text fixed, but everything changes constantly so that everything can remain the same. This is a nice quote. I don't know exactly who made it, but in the end, I see. I will end my presentation here and leave for some questions if you have. But I will see. I have some problems that I understand in the cities, but I see that the biggest problem we have right now in the West, because there are different realities in the South America, North America, and Asia, and now also Africa. So what I see as the biggest problem for the West is that because they are so dependent on the democracy process, the process of becoming smart or solving problems, let's call it smart cities, is solving problems. Actually, they don't solve too many problems they need to solve. They just announce solutions and they keep postponing to the next generation, next years, and so on. So we need to make it clear to the politicians, or at least somebody should start noticing it, that there are no future if we continue with this kind of hesitation and communication infatuated, more infatuated than substantial. So my advice, my message, my final message would be that we used to have a perfect city, which was launched by the Greeks and then promoted by the Romans, and then continue with the democracies and with the Renaissance and so on. We have so good examples like Venice. Venice is an amazing example of engineering and smart city from that time. It was a city created by zero. They created their own foundations just to get away from the invasions and from the barbars and from whatever. And we don't get those examples followed anymore by no one. We are just exchanging the real thing, which is solving problems for our citizens, for just announcements and superficial excuses that don't bring any happiness to no one, just frustration every 4 years at least, or in some shorter cycles or longer cycles, doesn't matter. We need to change it very fast. I hope Urbanize Hub, I really am confident that Gratian and all of you are part of this process to convince more and more people to just choose the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Vitor. We appreciate it, and thank you for sharing your wisdom and your perspective coming from the other side of the continent. Sadly, we won't have time for questions since we're a bit on a late schedule. But thank you once again for being part of our story, and we hope in your next visit to Bucharest there won't be anything standing in your way, and we get to enjoy more of your time with us here.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Let's begin the summer. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Bye bye.